Beg your pardon? Meredith, who is this coarse person with the foreign accent?
Okay, shall we kick it off here?
I think so.
Welcome to your favorite biblical / culture-oriented homosexual podcast. We're a noted far-right communist podcast.
No, we're not.
Did you know that?
I'm not in that one.
Well, because since I joined buymeacoffee.com, where thank you for those few who have contributed. Clearly, not all of you understood that applies to you as well. Click the link in the description. But I have learned that platform apparently also has been used by like far-right groups and other extremists. So, well, here's what I can say. Here's what I can guarantee is that we are by far the most right of all podcasts.
Oh, correct. It's very
well done, Sylvia. The first caller to the show today, that's Sylvia.
Hey.
I know Sylvia has a super important question about the England-Norway situation, but I have to give some a story here first. So I was up watching the England-Norway, and it was getting towards the middle of the night, and my 3-year-old son woke up, and he came to watch it with me because he fucking hates sleeping, right? He just will not sleep. And he came up and watched me, and after a while he has a little toy football or soccer ball in his room or in the living room. He started saying like, hey, let's play. And I was like, yeah, it's a little late for playing, but all right, go ahead. Nobody's going to sleep. So he started doing what he was seeing on the screen, which was he would kick the ball and then just fling himself violently on the floor and stay there, asking for a penalty, right? And this is a 3-year-old who has seen football maybe 3 times on a screen in his life, and this is what he's picked up: is a bunch of millionaires pretending to try to kick the ball, but really just flinging themselves on the floor in order to stay there crying.
Damn, man, that's funny.
Children will tell you the truth, and that's what he observed. So it's not just me saying that's what that sport is about. It was an awful watch overall. Norway was, we were all rooting for Norway for the interest of it. That would have been the most interesting thing that could have happened in the world at that moment, was for Norway to advance to the semis of a World Cup. England is fine, bit boring. Their captain, especially Harry Kane, is fucking disgusting behavior. Like, he did that thing where nobody touched him, and he stayed crying and screaming at the ref like a baby, and in the meanwhile the opponent took the ball and scored. And that's the captain of the team. Like, just what? In another sport like ice hockey or rugby or something, he would never see the field again for that team. Like, just he would be ostracized by every fan and a manager, coach on the planet. And no, in football, that was just, it's worth trying to get the free kick.
Yeah, I think they're a good team, though. Anything could have happened. Is that a good pun?
Anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. His name, though, to our Norwegian listeners, his name is Erling Braut Haaland, not Haaland. So that pun doesn't really
He's got his mother's
work.
name on his back as well, dude. Just so you know.
That's true. I said Braut. And that's his mother's last name, yeah. And I was reading the Norwegian tabloids after they beat Brazil, and it was just hilarious. Like, the Norwegian is the happiest language in the world. And let me read you, for example, a Norwegian headline from today. It's probably going to be about some awful war or crime against humanity, but just this is what the language said. Etter 12 år kan naboene få søvnen tilbake. That's a Norwegian headline. You know what they're talking about? Okay, so it's some neighbor who hasn't slept for 12 years.
What?
Because of a neighbor. It's like a neighbor's fighting over sleep. Yeah. Front page of a tabloid. But yeah, I was reading the Norwegian tabloids after the Brazil-Norway game. Norway, for those who don't know, Norway beat Brazil, and it was like the happiest hour of my life. Just like when they actually have a happy moment, that language it's the king. It's the greatest language on earth.
Yeah, it's quite up and down. I'm starting to really like Haaland because he's starting to grow on me in like a crush-ish way, even though his face is like interesting and he looks like a small giant. But he's also got a great online presence and is very funny and takes, is not serious about himself, which I admire.
Hmm. Yeah, it was also in the Norway-England game. It was nice to, since all these footballers are such bitches, it was nice to see an actual athlete in the audience. They were filming Magnus Carlsen in the audience, very much a friend of the show, and that was really lovely.
They were filming Beckham, but who's Magnus?
He's the greatest chess player probably
Yeah,
to ever
sport,
live.
right? Sport.
Yeah.
I think that's a sport, is it?
Well, a real sport where people don't cry like children when they're touched.
Like darts is just about a sport. Pool is slightly a sport, but they're heading for games. I'd say chess is just a game.
Chess was definitely treated as a sport in the Oxford-Cambridge rivalry that I was involved with some years ago, and I thought that was great, hilarious. Of course, it's a sport to those people,
Well, it should be like a tournament of a game, but not a tournament of a sport.
Yeah. Snooker is definitely a sport, but pool isn't. Like, pool is a game, a bar game. It's so easy. You have 3 beers and you get better. Snooker is a sport.
No,
Like,
but
that shit is hard. And darts is a game. Darts isn't a sport.
Yeah, it's tricky because you're not using like much of your body for it.
Yeah. I had a question to all the listeners. Maybe someone can write in the correct answer here. From the World Cup. We're still there, everyone. A lot of World Cup questions on my mind. Which is weirder, that all the French teams' players are African, or that all the African teams are full of French players?
I think if you get a chance to do World Cup and you're multinational, I would go. If I was an adventurous person and could be bothered, I'd go and represent someone else, because then in the history books you've represented a country in the World Cup. Like, that's as simple as it is.
Yeah, I know, but it's weird. There are 99 players born in France in the World Cup, and there aren't 99 players on the French team. I can tell you that. So, all these former colonies, these people have come over. So it's everyone. It's Morocco, Senegal, all the African teams, Congo. It's all people born in France who played youth football in France. Some of them even played on the French youth national team. And then as adults, they get to just choose, like, okay, I'm not good enough to ever make the French top 11 players. Therefore, I can represent this other team. So France has like 6 teams in this World Cup. And at least 3 of those 6 did really well and went really far in the tournament as well.
But they don't see themselves as French, like as representing France. The team, if they won, would be winning for that country.
Yeah, and some of these players, for a lot of them, have never been to the territory they're representing. Same for Curacao. They're like the Dutch second team, and Cape Verde. They even had some Irish guy who's definitely never been there. Like, yeah, it's just strange. The whole FIFA thing seems to be a big old scam. Like, if you're a good footballer, some country will find a way to give you citizenship so that they can have a better chance to get to a World Cup.
Yeah, well, it gives light to those countries and might help them along. So I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah,
It's a much more interesting group of teams than when it was just like Italy, Spain, France, England, Argentina,
yeah. Italy didn't even make
Portugal,
it this time.
Brazil. Like, that was just boring.
Yeah.
And that's just like, well, some are just the rich white ones, so at least it's got a bit more diversity going on.
Yeah. France is massively disappointing here. It looks like they're going to lose to Spain and be out of the tournament. And, they were major favorites to win the whole thing. Now it's looking very possible that it's England-Spain in the final.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, isn't it?
It's coming home, innit, Harry? Good penalty, Harry, innit?
Mm-hmm. But what about Argentina still in?
That was my that was my working class Englishman accent.
Innit?
What, Argentina? Can I do an Argentina accent?
Oh yeah.
How do you say it's coming home in Spanish?
Hombre. No, not hombre. Casa.
Yeah. But do Argentinians have the Zaragoza, the talking like a this with the S's, or is that only in Barcelona?
Or a Portuguese slang?
Argentina, they speak Spain. They speak Spain over there, innit?
They speak the Spain one.
Yeah.
Espanol.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess my point was that it used to be the opposite complaint, where everyone was complaining that the French team only has black Africans on it. But the black African teams only have Frenchmen on it, so there you go. It's going both ways now. And I don't know who those people were who were complaining about it. It wasn't me.
Yeah, glad you added that.
Speaking of... Yeah. Speaking of suspicious footballers, can I tell you about a couple for today's World Cup related Torah portion, a bit of weekly learning here. Okay. If I told you... well, first, could you tell me a little bit, what do you know about Osama bin Laden?
I was young when he was around. Bin Laden. He went in a bunker to hide. Baghdad.
Well, yeah, but you need to listen more closely, because I'm talking about Osama bin Laden Jimenez Lopez.
Oh,
who is... This is true. And you know how in Latin languages B's and V's are very interchangeable. So he is named after... Yeah, it is. He is named totally after Osama bin Laden. That is, his father gave him the name Osama bin Laden Jimenez Lopez. Yeah. And he's a Peruvian professional footballer who plays as a midfielder for Unión Comercio in the Peruvian Primera División. So, yeah, 23-year-old professional footballer. And it's not over yet. He's also born on the 7th of October, 2002. So double mega terrorism connection in this guy. Yeah. Yeah. And, all right, here's the factoids. This is brought to you by friend of the show, Wikipedia. Bin Laden is named after Osama bin Laden, the founder of Al-Qaeda. In Spanish, the letters V and B are whatever, what I just said, interchangeable. And it doesn't end here. His brother is named Saddam Hussein Jimenez Lopez.
No. Come on. Is he actually named after Osama bin Laden? He's not, is he?
Yes, and his brother is called Saddam Hussein Jimenez Lopez.
Yeah, I got that.
True story. He has a brother. Yeah. And his father planned to name the third sibling George Bush.
No.
Jimenez Lopez.
I don't believe
it. Yeah, and they were all born around 2002, 3, 4, that kind of era.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a daughter, so he didn't name her George Bush.
No.
But it could have been a Georgina Bush, Jimenez Lopez.
Interesting. Why did he do that? What was his...
So, fucking hell. He said in an interview in 2020, so obviously he's been bullied his whole life over this name, but he said, when Osama bin Laden knocked down the Twin Towers, the name was in the news, and I was born a year later, on October 7th. My father liked the name.
That's very sweet and weird. Wow.
Yeah. And he's also stated that he often thought about changing his name, but had not done so because he had come to accept it To avoid criticism, only his first name, Osama, appears on his jersey.
Oh dear.
Why doesn't Jimenez Lopez appear on his jersey if he wants to avoid criticism?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Oh my god. He also said, I do not believe my name to be problematic. And he cited that there was a Peruvian politician called Hitler Geshlin Alba Sanchez,
No.
and who won a mayoral election over another guy called Lenin Vladimir Rodriguez Valverde. In Peru, in 2018, there was a fucking election where the candidates were called Hitler and Lenin Vladimir.
Jesus, I don't know how they deal with their roller coaster.
I get that South America, that all the Nazis escaped there and disappeared into the jungle. I get that. But this is a little fucking on the nose to start naming your great-grandkids after your heroes back in the day, you know?
Yeah. Really loud.
Yeah. So, Bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, the footballing brothers from
Fabulous.
from Peru. Or, yeah, fabulous. Regarding feedback, here someone said, William, our most recent guest, William Jennings Chalk, the author. Go buy his book. Fun guy. William was great. He pushed back, unlike some of your polite American guests. The underlying attitude was, what the fuck are you on about, Danny? And that's exactly what we want.
Oh, I like that.
That came from a anonymous feedback. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Love it. Send more feedback. It's talkingasspodcast@gmail.com, or click the website in the description and go through there if you don't want me to have your email address for my lists. For, what would my list be called? Fiddler's List.
Oh, God.
On YouTube, we got a comment from Spudley Studley 2081. This was I made a clip, you know how there's video now, and I made a few short clips. My rant about the situation in southern Lebanon, but it was like cut in like half, so it wasn't even with all the context. But that got a few thousand on YouTube and Instagram combined. So there was a comment there. Someone said, I thought southern Lebanon these are majority Christian areas. There are a lot, I wanted to say there are a lot of Christians there, but it's certainly not majority Christian. The areas we were talking about are majority Shiite, but there are obviously entirely Christian villages in southern Lebanon. And look into the history of the Christians of southern Lebanon. You will find some interesting stuff, both good and bad.
There she blows.
Okay. You ready? I wanted to say about the buymeacoffee.com thing. I want to promise anyone who contributes, however little, I have a thing. The reason why I didn't do Patreon is they want you to create all these tiers, and like, I didn't know what I actually wanted to give people who contribute. I don't at the moment want to take on a t-shirt operation or something like that. I feel like I would make a major loss on that, and I don't want to have people's addresses and start shipping, and because then I need to, all kinds of legal implications start coming in if I hold people's data, whatever, data regulations. Fuck all of that. What you can do is anyone who contributes, if you leave your social tag or some other way to contact you, is I'll let you call in for a book club. And you can call into one of these bonus episodes, and either, depending on the vibe, whether you're a funny fella or gal, then I can ridicule you for your reading, or if it's something serious you bring and you're a smart person, then we can discuss it seriously.
And if you're not a smart person, you can talk to me if you'd like.
Yeah. So buymeacoffee.com/thetalkingass, I think. Click the link in the description and you can call in for book club. And I'll give you an example. Like, here's a caller, our first ever remote caller for book club. Sylvia, what are you reading?
I am reading The Prisoner, which is the sequel to The Crooked Cross by Sally Carson, and it's I talked about Crooked Cross before, where it was the rise of the Nazis, and then it's still rising, the Nazis, but anyway, now it's after something big happens in the family where all of them have joined the party, but now they've realised, oh my god, if we wanted to get out, we couldn't, or we'd, be in danger, and they're starting to realise the monster that they've signed up to. So that's really interesting. It's quite miserable at the moment. I don't think there's meant to be much joy, but it's interesting. And I'm also listening still to my Agent Zigzag, and I was hearing about the occupation of Norwegia in the war.
Yes, we forgot. You had a question about the occupation of Norway. So they were, now I'm going from memory, they were occupied in 1940 until the very end of the war by the Nazis. Norway was. And the Nazi operation was called something like Vereberbrung.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they called they called the ones that were working with them the Vikings.
No, here is what you're looking for is a word that's still used today by very pretentious and well-read and clever people. Is the government, the puppet regime was led by a man called Quisling. And you might still hear some people refer to sort of traitors or collaborators with the enemy as Quislings.
And the ones that actually joined them as an army unit were called the Vikings. And the resistance, they called themselves a frozen army. So it's just great,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Nazis took Norway because of several reasons. I mean, access to the iron ore in Sweden, some cold water ports for naval supremacy in the North Atlantic, and of course the whole Lebensraum ideology of creating living space for the Aryan Germanic Empire, whatever the fuck, right? And then in the end, they also put the heavy water facilities there for their nuclear project. And that was one of the greatest victories of the Norwegian resistance, or any resistance movement during the war, was the sabotage of the Nazi heavy water facilities.
I've looked at some of the other occupations and resistances, and did you know there was Japan occupied Alaskan islands?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know the best resistance known to the internet is former Yugoslavia, who fought, and Poland, who fought back, and the Soviets and Crete, but also Greece more generally.
Yeah. Well, let's in the great success stories of resistance to Nazi or Soviet occupation during this war and after, let's not forget the countries who actually resisted with their actual armies successfully. The two capital cities that were never occupied in Europe by either side were what?
London?
London's one. What's the other one? Some could argue that I have some connection to the other one.
Oh, Finnish.
Helsinki, yeah. So let's also give some credit to the resistance movements who actually resisted occupation in the first place, which was, the Battle of Britain and Finland. Although Finland did ally with the Nazis for a while, and then sort of kind of allied with Stalin for another while, and did send some Jews to concentration camps. And let's also remember that in Britain, in what is today Britain, you would know this, but very few people outside Britain know this, there was a Nazi concentration camp in Britain.
Oh,
so the Nazis did manage to occupy.
In Jersey.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, so the Nazis occupied Jersey and Guernsey, and those are part of Britain today. So. Yeah.
The Finnish one, respectfully, sounds more like survival mode and be friendly to the occupier. It doesn't really sound like resistance to me.
No, I mean, they fought the first war, 1939 to 1940. They fought an actual war before Britain had even joined. They bore the brunt of the war before the World War II had really properly kicked off. Finland fought the Soviet Union and arguably won initially. Then later on, they had to do alliances with the Nazis and then alliances with the Soviets in order to survive. And there's a whole academic thing about the driftwood theory, look that up, about how Finland managed to survive without really being occupied by either side. And a lot of that was sneaky backroom dealing and morally and ethically weird decisions. But they did survive, and they did resist occupation from both sides. But initially, the first war, the Winter War of 1939 to 1940, that's the war the Finns are proud of, because there they weren't, the wheeling and dealing hadn't started, and that was a full-on defensive war, just like the Ukraine is fighting against Russia now, that they won and pushed the Soviets back. And And that was very much a resistance war, because there were these guys on skis against tanks. With the Molotov cocktail was invented by the Finns during that war and named after the Russian foreign minister, Vyacheslav Molotov. So that was very much a resistance war by Finland. So they were arguably the most successful resistance movement during World War II.
I retract it. And then thinking of those who are neutral, Portugal was an interesting one, because that's where all of the underground war would happen, with the spies and it being like a sort of middle land.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of spies ended up dying in Lisbon, on the streets of Lisbon, didn't they? Okay, speaking of war, apparently all my AI skepticism, this is a double book club coming up here. But the first book club book here is about a different kind of war. It's called Chip War, or Chip Wars. And let me see who it's written by. Chris Miller. Chip War by Chris Miller. And I'm just finishing it up. And in that, the author very much explained to me that, hey, Danny, your fucking skepticism about AI is what your adversaries want you to be. They want you to be skeptical about AI, because the more AI skepticism towards this cutting-edge technology like semiconductors and chips, and he was explaining something called extreme ultraviolet technology to me as well, important shit that other people do. The more skepticism you sow out there on the internet, the more you're playing in the hands of your adversaries, who want the Western public to be against this so that they can run off and catch us and get ahead of us instead. So I never really considered that.
Who are the adversaries in this scenario?
Well, they rhyme with Baina is the main one, and then there's Basha and some others.
Okay.
And they're friends. Yeah. And whatever, and their allies, you know?
Yeah.
Certainly not our buddies. So, yeah. Let me just say that any industrial spies out there conducting espionage on Western semiconductor technology are very much not friends of the show.
Oh.
I just want to make that clear.
Otherwise, call in if you're one of them. We'll be happy to hear from you.
Yeah. I'm sure we're giving you like cutting edge information that you can print out and take home to the CCP. So the other thing, speaking of adversaries and technology, I'm probably gonna quit X, you know, Elon's X, and I'm not on it as a person because I have no interest in it, but as the podcast I've been on there, and like certain comments of mine have gained a lot of traction because they've been funny or whatever, but overall, people are just nasty over there. It's just, I think the term toxic is overused, like toxic environment, I don't feel safe, and it's applied to all kinds of nonsense where you should just be resilient and get over it. But this one really is like, people are nasty for no reason to people, and like, it's not nice. And plus, I haven't looked at the analytics, but I don't think it's relevant for the podcast anyway, because the audio platforms and now that there's video, Instagram and YouTube Shorts have been where most of the traction has happened. Most of the attention for my bullshit has been going on. So, yeah, X, really awful environment. What do you know about X, Sylvia?
I would not go near it. I'm quite pleased to hear that you're cancelling, Xing them out.
Of course not we got to make clear we're not talking about X videos, which is a perfectly healthy, family friendly, wholesome environment.
God's
But
sake.
just
I wouldn't
x.com.
know what that is, but clearly you do. But were they ever mean to you?
No, I'm sure, but I'm not what you'd call a snowflake. Like I got into this internet business for people to be mean to me. Like I love any negative feedback, but send it to the show so we can make content out of it and stuff. Like be fun about it. Not to me, like just to people, to each other, and then it's a bunch of misinformation, bots, polarization. Like obviously this is we've already talked about this on other episodes, more serious episodes, where it's obviously polarizing all of society, which is ultimately really bad. There's no nuance on anything, and there's like AI generated garbage and constant adverts about God knows what. Like someone somewhere is paying a lot of money to advertise like things where you don't even understand what the product is, and it seems like just AI slop, but someone's paying for it to be like featured on the top of people's feeds. It's a really strange place. Like, yeah, fuck that place. I still use, like, I don't want to say Elon Musk is whatever, only awful. I mean, I think he's done some remarkable things in his career, and I still sometimes use Grok when other AI bots fail. I use them all sort of interchangeably. If one of them fails at what I'm trying to do, rather than trying to argue with it, I just go to the competition and do it there. So I still have Grok and all that. I don't think that's a bad service, but X.com, the actual former Twitter, is just fucking terrible. Anyway, more fun. I said double book club. Here's one that any dum-dum who's listening can also participate in. If you don't want to read The Chip War by Chris Miller, then here's one that I read. For the first time in my life, I read a John Grisham mystery thriller. And it was fucking fantastic.
Did you? That sounds very...
What, below my station? Very, very unbecoming, is it, for the talking ass?
Murder porn, as you call it, isn't it, for book?
It wasn't murder porn. Like, here's the thing. I think it was superbly written where you cannot put it down. It was like a page turner is an understatement, because it's, written for people who don't read dense things. Like I read dense things where the font is small and there's no single spacing, so that you can fit like maximum information in 500 pages. If it was the way Grisham spaces it, my 600 pages would be 1200 pages if they were spaced the same way. And it's like big font, big spaces, a gripping story. Every line is well written. And it was thoughtful. It was called The Confession, and it was about an innocent man being executed in Texas. And it was a truly interesting story and take on things, and a really good read. And I can see why John Grisham has sold a gazillion copies of his stuff, because
has it become
it was fucking good.
I mean, not a podcast. Has it become a film?
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know
has
if
in other
Grisham's
forms,
And it's definitely not murder porn, because he doesn't like do any grisly crime scene descriptions, because he's it's more like legal thrillers usually, because he was a lawyer.
Yeah.
John Grisham was.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, John Grisham's The Confession can get a talking ass bump. Hey, before we get a lovely public service announcement from Sylvia, I will say thank you. I will also say it's coming home, innit? And go to buymeacoffee.com/thetalkingass. Send your pennies, shove them up the internet right into my mouth. And the next episode will be about AI again. Haven't had that in a while. So AI and universities specifically, with a really fun guest.
Nice.
Sylvia, send everyone home with a lovely message.
So I've just looked up bad translation quote of the day. So the original quote is, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. But the nice translation of it is, "A world where you always try to do something different, you are yourself the most successful." So
excellent.
I mean, it's not that bad.
Well, I have if we're doing quotes, I will. I was going to give you the final word, but I have another one here. This is a poignant and famous African proverb, often attributed to the Kikuyu people of Kenya. And they say, when elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers.
Damn, man, that's big. Elephants wouldn't fight because they're too lovely, so they just give people a bit of what for. They're just giving a bit of what for. No, this is my family. Bugger off. And
elephants are super aggressive. What are you talking about? Male elephants will fuck you up, Sylvia. It's not even a joke. Yeah. You don't go anywhere near them.
Obviously you don't. They sort each other out. They say like, no, you're not doing it. I'll give you my tusks. You know, they don't do it because they just want to. They're not like football louts kind of thing. They're like, look, if you keep pushing me, I'll show you my tusk. That's my real.
Understood, Sylvie.
Service announcement. Really.
Love it. Thank you very much. See you next week.
See you next time.
Now, if you enjoyed this episode of The Talking Ass, remember to rate, review, follow the show for more of this weirdness, and share. And with a friend, enemy, neighbor, relative, lover even. And press those goddamn internet buttons. Press them hard. Follow, all that jazz. See you next time.